Hi everyone, my name is Greta, and my family hates me. They have their reasons. On the one hand, I understand them, but more so, I don't. I'll give you the details, you draw your own conclusions too, and then I'll be waiting for your opinions in the comments below the video. Anyway, from an early age, I just adored cats and dogs, especially the homeless street ones. I used to bring them home, bathe them, clean them, take them to the hairdresser, then fatten them up, and then I let them out on the street. But most of them didn't want to leave after that. I understand that we're responsible for what we have tamed, but how could I explain this to my parents? There was no way Mom and Dad would agree to pets, especially street pets. I knew I couldn't just let them die on the street. We ended up having a lot of fights. Good thing we lived in a private home and had our area, where I created a temporary shelter for stray animals. After a couple of days, I hung pictures of beautiful and well-groomed dogs and cats around town and gave them out to people for free. Everyone was happy about it, except my folks.
How can you not like them? They're so cute.
They ruined my lawn. And how much food do I have to buy? I only work for your homeless dogs and cats.
I told you I'd get a job and provide for them myself.
You know, if you don't get a job in 2 weeks, you'll be living on the street with them.
Come on, Dad, you can't be serious, right?
Yes, we are. We're tired. Take your menagerie and get out of the house.
I did not take it seriously. Well, how can parents kick their own child out of the house, right? True, that same evening, while we were home asleep, Bobby, my new doggie, came in through the window. He hadn't been taught the new rules yet, so he got in the house, trashed the kitchen, tore up the couch, chewed all my parents' shoes, smashed the TV, all in about 6 minutes. We jumped up out of fear. My dad thought we had a thief breaking in, but it wasn't like that. Bobby was sitting in the middle of the room, wagging his tail treacherously. I don't remember exactly how I ran out of there, taking only a couple of things. Dad and Mom were yelling louder than a siren, so I made a run for it as fast as I could with all my pets. After running for 9 blocks, I sat down in a park on the grass to catch my breath.
Man, this is a mess. What am I supposed to do now? My father yelled that he was going to slaughter all of you, and me too, along with you. My folks hate me now because of what you did. You couldn't have broken one thing, or at least not one at night. They'd forgive me for that, Bobby.
But Bobby was marking his territory with the other 3 dogs and 5 cats. I had nowhere to go, so I leashed everyone and went to sleep right on the lawn. But I didn't sleep for long. I was woken up a little later by a policeman. He pointed out to me that there were no pets allowed on that property, and he also pointed out some scary evidence.
Ma'am, you're going to have to clean up all this waste, or I'm going to have to give you a big fine.
Oh, but I don't have any money. I'll clean it up, Chief.
The poop was lying around in leash radius. I was pissed, picked up a baggie, and started picking it all up. The nasty part was that the cop wasn't too far away, and he was watching to see if I missed anything.
What are you doing walking all these animals?
They're all mine.
What? Yours? Do you live with them?
Yes, I couldn't get past the stray ones.
So you picked them up off the street. That's commendable. You must love your pets very much.
Yeah, that's true.
But where's your house? Why are you outside at 4 in the morning?
Guests came over and the kids are allergic to fur, so I decided to take the night off.
Oh, I see. Maybe you need some help. Do you want to keep them in a shelter for a while?
No, I'll never take them to those places. Thank you. I'm done. All clear. We're off. Goodbye.
A shelter is a place where most of them would have died. Some would have starved to death, some would have been slaughtered or given to psychopaths. I didn't want that fate for my animals. A little later, they all got hungry. As we walked down the street, my dog smelled hot dogs, and there we go. The dogs and cats just carried me on their bellies all the way down the street, and then they pounced on the refrigerator, knocked it over, and ate all the sausage and bread, and Bobby even ate the mustard and ketchup. I stood there in shock and didn't even know what to say. The old Mexican man was swearing all over the street, and he made me pay the damages. I gave him everything I had in savings. I had planned to live off that money for the first time, and it ended up coming to nothing. I took the dogs away, we went to a dog park, and there they went to sleep. And I sat there wondering what I was going to do next. My sad mood was brightened up by the rain. It was pouring down like a bucket, and I was sitting on a bench under a tree and soaking. The dogs and cats were only happy about the rain. After a couple of hours, it was over, but I was soaked to the skin. In the evening, we went looking for food again and wandered toward a cafe, where the same cop met me and my dogs. We got to talking, and he introduced himself as Steve. He was nice. He offered me his jacket, and then he fed us all. He wanted to give me a ride home, but I politely declined and we left. The second night on the street, I felt terribly sick. I had a fever and a headache. In the morning, my pets woke me up, but I couldn't get up from the bench. It was so bad. And then the fever got worse. I couldn't even open my eyes properly and just lay there. And then I remembered moments of being lifted. Then I was driving somewhere. Then I opened my eyes and I was in a hospital. Steve?
Oh, you're awake. I was so scared for you.
Where am I?
You're in the hospital. You were very sick, so I brought you here.
And where are my pets?
Don't worry, my colleagues are looking after them at the station.
Oh, thank you. How did you know?
Your dog somehow got off the leash and found me. I recognized her right away and I knew something was wrong.
That's terrible. Thank you.
Why didn't you tell me?
About what?
You're obviously out of your house. You have no place to live, and apparently you have no money at all.
I have my reasons.
Do you like dogs so much that they kicked you out of your house?
How did you know that?
I was the same way when I was a kid.
So, did you choose to give them up?
I opened a small shelter, and as a policeman, I've also saved the lives of many strays.
Man, I didn't think about that when I left. I didn't know what to do next.
Greta, your parents have been looking for you this whole time. Our precinct filed a missing person report and an APB on you.
Really? I thought they hated me after what happened.
Your father said that if he'd known you would leave home and that you'd take him seriously, he never would have said that.
Where are they now?
They're on their way here.
As soon as he said that, my folks burst into the room. We had a long conversation, and I apologized to them for my rash act, too. I said I thought there was no more room for me in their house.
There's always room for you, just not for all the dogs.
Carl, shut up. She wants them. Let her keep them. Just as long as she's healthy and safe, right, honey?
Yeah, your mom's right. I'm sorry, I should have been more vigilant.
So you'll let me come home with the dogs?
Of course.
I was discharged a day later. I went to the station to get my pets, and I saw that they were all doing very well there. Steve told me that some of them were providing emotional support to the detainees, and other dogs were proving to be very good detectives, finding guns and drugs. The police asked me to leave them there. Bobby came up to me sad. Hey man, thank you. You saved me, buddy. You like it here, right? You want to stay? Okay, I'll miss you and everyone else. I was sad, but I was glad that my dogs had found their purpose. It was great. My folks were more excited than I was, but when I came home, I was very sad. I felt kind of empty without them. A day later, I went out to the yard and heard meowing. I found a box of abandoned kittens in the bushes. Dad, Mom, I got new pets. Dad and Mom almost fell over when they saw the 23 kittens.
Oh gosh, honey, my heart.
Calm down, Carl. They're kittens, not dogs. They'll be fine. So I can keep them?
You can.
Hooray, thank you. I promise I'll keep a good eye on them. So that's roughly how my story began, and in the future, I became the head of the largest foundation for homeless animals. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hi everyone, my name is Gina. I want to tell you about my life with my mom and our difficult relationship. Every family has its own story and situations, and mine will probably be a classic one. So I'm not going to drag it out. Listen. There used to be 4 of us in the family. Dad, Mom, my brother David, and me. My parents always loved some of the kids more and some less. My older brother got all of the parental love because, as my parents said, they dreamed of having 2 sons to feed them in the future. But then a girl was born, that is, me, and it ruined all their perfect plans for old age. I did not immediately understand what was what. All the conclusions that I have made now are the result of long years of observation. Well, for example, when we went to movies as a family, I'd pull my parents to a cartoon and my brother would choose an action movie. So we'd go see the action movie. If we ate one dish in a cafe, I could choose the same as my brother, but it still gets overplayed. What are we going to eat? Let's order a dish for the whole family.
Kids, take your pick. David, what do you want?
I think we should order the chicken. It's spicy, let's not. It's just a little spicy, and besides, you can ask for the hot sauce separately.
I didn't like it very much last time. By the way, yes, you can ask for the sauce separately. It's good here. I'll take the chicken.
Okay, honey, we'll order the chicken and the sauce separately.
That's a great idea, son.
What? I just fucking... Okay, forget it. It was such a typical situation, but I've seen this kind of thing almost every day. All the best to my brother. He had a better room, too. More spacious, prettier, and they gave me the attic. Interestingly, David didn't see things at all, though I was winding myself up. Our upbringing was different, too. He was more spoiled and capricious than I was, so that's how we lived. And then David got into sports and started winning soccer on the school team. They gave him good grades just for being a powerhouse. My dad was increasingly proud of him, and he and my mom never missed a game, unlike me. Yes, I was jealous of him. Why was my brother so successful, smart, handsome, and I wasn't? And these accumulated feelings made me want to hurt him all the time. Sometimes I would oversalt his omelet. Sometimes I would push him in the doorway. Sometimes I would pretend to be his girlfriend and pick up the phone while he was taking a shower. I'd throw tantrums and get dumped. He had no idea I was doing it. I was just getting high off it. One day, though, my devious plan was revealed. I picked up the phone when some Caitlin called him on the phone and started pretending to be his girlfriend. I threw mud all over the girl on the other end of the line, and she cried. But as soon as I hung up, I saw David behind me. He was standing there, angry and indignant.
So this is who's ruining my relationship?
Oh, hey, sorry. I don't know what you mean. I have no idea who that was. Apparently, it was a wrong number.
I heard everything. You picked up the phone from the other room. How could you, Gina? You're my fucking sister.
Look, one little chat and that's it. Why are you getting hysterical?
Because, Gina, I really like this girl, and I've done a lot to get us together.
Come on, you're the best. What's it worth to hook up with some stupid hottie?
Don't say that, Gina, or else...
Or what, David? Go ahead, say it. You're allowed anything. Our parents would never scold you for hurting me, and if you did, it would be no big deal, right?
What are you talking about?
Haven't you noticed? All the best goes to you. Our parents only dance to your tune because you've got something between your legs, and I'm not that lucky. I was born a girl.
What does that have to do with anything?
Man, you're really stupid. To love you just because you were born a boy and not love me because I'm a girl. David looked at me with surprise and then annoyance. He walked up the stairs, told me not to dare pick up the phone in this house again, and that phrase knocked me out.
Do you think you have more right to this house than I do?
I yelled, and without expecting it, I pushed David down the stairs. He rolled down and passed out. I won't tell you any more about the horror that was going on. Yeah, I was really sorry. I didn't mean for it to go down like that. I certainly didn't want to kill him, but I couldn't control myself at that point. I cried a lot and couldn't sleep, and neither did my parents. They stopped talking to me altogether. My brother's condition was bad. He banged his neck, but he was alive, just unconscious. A few months passed like that. He was put into a medically induced coma. The news was a shock. It was impossible to live at home because my parents looked at me sideways, would not say a word to me. I was like a shadow in an empty place, and I wanted to redeem myself somehow, so I started dressing in David's clothes.
Are you crazy? Take it off. He's not dead.
I know, Mom. It makes me feel better. It's like he's here, you know?
I wish you were in his place.
Her words pierced my heart like a knife. I wanted to howl in pain, but I realized that I had to do something. Otherwise, I'd go crazy. So, after I changed my closet, I went to soccer. I had never liked this sport, but since David loved it, I thought, why not? After a couple of weeks, I was getting good at it, though at one practice I got my hair caught right in the gate, and it hurt. That same day, I cut my braid off and got a boyish haircut. My mom and dad were freaking out when they saw me.
Gina, you look like him now.
That's awful! Are you doing this on purpose? To hurt us? No. My hair was just bothering me while I was playing soccer.
You also went to soccer? Are you mocking us?
Not mocking. I just want to be...
You'll never be like your brother. Never, okay?
Tears flowed out of my eyes. I threw a ticket to my first women's soccer game on the table and went to my room. And what do you think? They didn't show up for the game. And I went to my brother's hospital right after my debut. Hey, David. Hey, how are you? You're doing great. Lying around, resting, not having to study, huh? Yeah, I'm sorry.
I should have said that a long time ago, but I was so embarrassed that I couldn't. Actually, you're right. I'm a stupid, jealous sister who's never done anything with her life. All I've ever done is envy you. But you know, it really hurts to grow up in a family that doesn't love you. I don't know if you've heard, but Mom and Dad often talk about how they'd love it if I'd been a boy, like a little brother for you. Now, while you're away, I'm trying to change both externally and internally to win my parents' love. But it's the opposite. Since I became boyish, Mom hates me even more. So that's my point. I came to say goodbye to you. I'm sorry I ruined your life. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry. I'm leaving home. Goodbye. Hot tears streamed down my cheeks. I hugged my brother's arm and headed for the door, where I met my parents. At first, we just looked at each other in silence, and then I grabbed my bag and wanted to move aside. But then my father took my hand and offered me a cup of coffee. We sat down in the hallway and were quiet.
You played great. You're good at passing. Did you know that?
What? Were you there? Were you at the game? We were. Of course we were. It was your first game.
Training for 1.5 months, and you got a result like that. Not everyone can do that.
I didn't see you there.
We didn't sit in the stands. We stood on the field to see you better. Gina, my daughter, forgive us.
For what?
For not showing you our love and not paying you enough attention.
Are you serious? Mom! Dad! I couldn't pull myself together. My lips were shaking. I was shaking like I was standing naked in the cold.
Yes, we're sorry, daughter. Don't leave home. Don't. You don't have to do anything for us just because we're stupid parents. You are my daughter and my great pride. You don't have to pretend to be a boy. Just be yourself. And if you can, forgive us.
And then we didn't say a word, just sat on the floor, hugged tight, and cried. And then the doctor ran up to us, shouted my father's name loudly, and was like, "Your son is calling for Gina."
Yeah, he came to his senses.
Finally.
Tell me, guys, did you like my story? Write your opinion about it in the comments below the video. Don't forget to like it, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel.